Hello, Jess here again. I was going to tell you a story this morning about 3 jackloads of gold that's supposed to be buried on the borders of Indian Creek. My father-in-law, Bert Harris, he was born on Indian Creek at Treat, and he told a story that when he was a little boy, he said he was probably 9 or 10 years old, so he was born in 1906, so that would put it up around 1915 or something like that. He said there was an old Indian guy came to their house and asked his dad and mom if he could camp there in their yard or out in one of their sheds and for a week or so, and they said yeah, that'd be fine. And so they even let him eat with them and everything, and was nice to him, and the kids all enjoyed his company when he was there. But he'd get up real early in the morning and he'd walk away from their house and he'd be gone all day, and he'd come back right at dark or real late in the evening, and he'd be gone scouting around looking, and they'd ask him what he was hunting, and he said well, he was just looking for old places where his family lived back, before they had to moved to Oklahoma. And so one day he was gone. Bert said he had a big old pack out there, and he went out there and tried to lift his pack, and he said that old pack was so heavy he couldn't even pick it up himself. And this old Indian man, he was getting on up in the years, pretty old. And well, he done that for about 2 weeks. He stayed with him, and one evening he come there and he told Bert's daddy, George, he said, Mr. Harris, he said, I'm going to tell you before I leave, he said, what I've been looking for. He said, on the borders of Indian Creek, somewhere, he said, there's 3 mule loads of gold and silver that's buried in a place in the shape of a wagon wheel with a blazed tree on each side of it. And he said, you can, if you find that, he said, you can be wealthy if you dig it up. He said it's been there for probably 100 years. And so Bert, he said his daddy naturally told his brothers, which was Bert's uncles, all about it. And later, 2 or 3 years later, one of Bert's uncles come up on this place, and rocks was laid out in the shape of a wagon wheel. It even had the spokes. It had a round circle of rocks and had the hub and spokes running out from it, and had an old tree blazed on each side of it. So he went back and he told George, and George and Bert and them, the boys, they went down to where it was at, and they looked at it and seen where it was at, and they said they was going to get digging tools and come back, but they scattered the rocks around because several people had heard the story, about the gold being buried in a place in the shape of a wagon wheel on the borders of Indian Creek. So they moved the rocks where there wouldn't nobody ever know where it was at. And they went down there and dug a little bit, but thought they wasn't going to find anything, so they quit. And in later years, well, Bert was telling his son J.D. and a good friend of theirs, Finus Pierce, about it, and they asked Bert, said, Bert, do you think you can find that place? And he said, well, yeah. He said, I can find it. It's real easy. He said, I've been by it a bunch of times, but I never have tried digging in it anymore. Since that one time we went down there and dug a little bit when I was a boy. So Finus and J.D. and Bert, they went down there and took shovels, and they got in the hole and started digging. They dug down. He said they dug down probably 3.5 or 4 foot in that hole. He said he's digging in a circle, and they're digging down, and all at once, boom, right in that hole was a shotgun blast. Bert said they all laid down and thought somebody was shooting at them, so they laid down in that hole, and Bert said it kind of startled them, so they left. They went down there and got on the road, and they looked all around. They couldn't find nobody, but they went ahead and got their tools and they left. And they never did know what that blast was that went off in that hole while they was digging in. So later on, he was telling me and my cousin, Junior Mahan, about it. And we asked him, said, well, Bert, would you take us up there and show us where it's at? And he said, yeah, I'll be glad to. So we went with Bert, and he took us up there and showed us where it was at. And we didn't try to dig in it that day, but I was working for APT Construction Company at the airport at Russellville. They'd moved the airport from Arkansas Tech University out there where the airport's at now. And when they moved the airport, they put gas lights all around it for landing lights or around the borders of the airport there. And we was digging them lines up and putting electric lines in. But anyhow, I was working at the airport, and it started raining. J.J. Mahan, my cousin Junior, he was a dozer operator. And he was running the dozer, so it got to raining. It rained him out, and it rained me out. And we got together, and he said, why don't we go up there on the Dare mine and see if we can dig that hole out? And Bert was telling us about it. I said, okay. So we went up to the hole. We took a probing rod, and we took shovels and picks, and we went up to that hole, and I was down in there, and I dug a little bit, and I dug some, and we probed. We never could hit nothing. But you can dig in that hole, and it's got like digging in a dug well. It's about the size of a dug well, and it goes down. But you get on either side of that or anywhere out of that circle, and it's just about solid rock. I mean, you just can't dig nothing in it. But we was digging. I dug down a couple of feet. And I got out of there, and Junior, he got down in the hole. And it'd been raining and foggy, and everything was wet. And all at once, it sounded like horses walking on dry ground. You know, clomp, clomp, clomp. They just went by. And Junior, he said, what is that? I said, did you hear that? I said, yeah. I said, it sounded like horses walking with me. And he said, yeah, it did me too. Said it sounded like two horses walked right by this hole. I said, yeah, that's what it sounded like. He said, did you think it was deer? And I said, I don't know what it was. I said, it sounded more like horses walking on dry land. I said, it sounded like they walked right by us here. He said, yeah, it did. So he went, dug a couple more shovelfuls of dirt out of that hole, and bang, bang, right in that hole. It sounded like a double-barrel shotgun. Just boom, boom, went off right in that hole. Well, he laid down in the hole, and I jumped behind a tree, and I laid down. He said, run to the truck and get her guns. I said, you want them guns, you go to the truck and get them yourself. I said, I ain't getting out there. I said, somebody's trying to shoot us or something. And we laid there a long time, and nothing else ever happened. And we went down to the truck, and there wasn't no tracks. Nobody had come down the road. And we got in the truck, drove up the road, drove down the road. There wasn't nobody hunting, no squirrel hunters, because we'd have seen their vehicle or something. And nobody around. And we went back and got our digging tools, and we left. And we never did go back no more. And him and Harold Joe Jones, is his brother-in-law, they went back up there one time, and he said they took a metal detector, but they couldn't get no sound or nothing, and so they didn't try digging anymore. And we never did go back. I know it sounds silly that we never did go back, and I never did really understand why I never did go back up there. Of course, back then, the government, you know, would let you do stuff in the forest. I mean, the government was the people, and the people had access to all the stuff in the forest. Now, they'd probably give you 100 years in electric chair if they caught you out there digging in a hole. But anyhow, that is the story Bert told us, and that's what happened to us. It happened to J.D. and Finus and Bert, and it happened to me and J.J. So I don't know. You can believe it or not, but that's exactly exactly the truth. I'm telling you the truth.